lovely afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on Nationwide. In the next 55 minutes, we'll be taking you around the country. Thank you once again for finding the time to join. My name is Kuka Ona. It's just a month to the Edo governorship election, and INEC is set for the exercise. INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the assurance after meeting with resident electoral commissioners on level of preparations for the elections. Collection of permanent voters' cards, PVCs in Edo State, was top among issues deliberated.
These cards will be made available at RA level from Thursday, 22nd August 2024 to Monday, 26th August 2024, from 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. That's 5 in the evening daily, including the weekend. It is important to emphasize that the Commission's policy that PVCs must be personally collected by registered voters has not changed. The cards will not be distributed or collected by proxy, so that they do not end up in the wrong hands.
INEC will announce a date for the collection of PVCs in Ondo State soon. And now the Supreme Court has reserved judgments in the appeals emanating from the conduct of Bayelsa and Kogi State's governorship elections. Omenka Marachuku completes the report.
In the appeal from Bayelsa State, the appellant, Timipre Silva, and the APC pleaded with the court to set aside the judgments of the Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal and the Court of Appeal, which had earlier dismissed their petition. The respondents in the matter, though in jury, asked the court to dismiss the appeal brought against its election by the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC in the Bayelsa governorship pool. In another development, the Apex Court has equally reserved judgment in the appeal filed against the tribunal and the appeal court judgments by the candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the Kogi governorship election, Motala Ajaka, to a date that will be communicated to the parties. The Apex Court also declined a request by Ajaka's counsel for the constitution of a full panel to hear and determine his appeal. The two appeals have been heard and to be determined at a later date. In Abuja, Omenka Marachuku, NTA News.
A report just reaching us indicates that President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for France on a private trip. The president took off a few minutes ago, and an earlier statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Ajurin Gelali, indicates that the president will return to the country after his brief work stay in that country. Now, train a child, they say, and develop a nation. Therefore, issues pertaining to the welfare of the child always receive top attention from society. The judiciary has also taken it upon itself to further prioritize the rights of this set of people under the extant laws of the land. Mina Daniels of our judiciary desk reports.
They are the lucky ones, as other children in their thousands are disadvantaged, lacking care, comfort, food, and education. To address this, the National Judicial Institute organized a capacity-building workshop for family court judges, magistrates, social welfare officers, and gender units of the police. The goal is to refresh memories of participants on principles and practice of child justice administration in Nigeria.
It is essential to recognize issues such as child abuse, neglect, exploitation, and lack of access to justice.
Outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, says child rights remain topical in law enforcement.
While I acknowledge the great strides made towards enhancing child protection and child justice administration in Nigeria, several children across the nation continue to face challenges that threaten their chance at a viable future.
The good news is that all 36 states have already adopted the Child Rights Act. However, the authorities of the judiciary want the message to be cascaded to all and sundry, that providing an adequate environment for a child to develop optimally is in the best interests of the whole society. In Abuja, Minna Daniels, NTA News.
And now to security matters. Operatives of the Police Special Tactical Squad has recovered 13 stolen vehicles. Francis Form reports that the police at a media briefing in Abuja also apprehended a lady with a bag of gari used in concealing arms and ammunition.
It was another harvest of arrests of criminal suspects by the Special Tactical Squad of the police force. 9 suspects are so far in the police net. Prominent amongst the suspects is this 35-year-old who specializes in buying stolen vehicles, and this lady who was contracted to transport a bag of gari concealed with firearms and ammunition for onwards delivery.
The suspect confessed to being specialized in receiving stolen vehicles and being a major receiver of stolen vehicles and parts of those vehicles in Sokoto State as a whole. During the interrogation, the suspect confessed that he was one Aminu Basulube, a notorious bandit terrorizing Katsina State, General Aziz, who sent her to take delivery of the arms in Danum Madam Camp, Katsina State.
Next is a gang of 2 brothers who specializes in stealing Toyota brand bags. And this suspect who says he bought firearms to chase cattle rustlers.
The suspect upon arrest confessed to the crime and led operatives to the recovery of the operational rifles. Efforts are still on and being intensified to arrest other members of this syndicate.
Various weapons were recovered from the suspects. Francis from NTA News.
Local communities in Osun State are receiving a much-needed lifeline for survival as they are keen into a program by the state government that provides them with essential amenities. Femi Afarigun visited one of the benefiting communities in Iwo local government area of the state.
For years, Agurodo village in Ejibo local government area of Osun State struggled with limited access to clean water and basic health care.
We used to trek to a far river before we can get water to drink, and it takes a whole day to do that. There was no clinic before. We traveled to the next village to access health care.
But now, through a targeted intervention called Osun Cares by the state government, a replica of NG Cares of the federal government, the fortune of the village changed with the provision of motorized borehole and healthcare center.
This community has been longing for this kind of project a long time ago.
We thank the governor for giving us water and healthcare center.
The agency in charge of the program says there is still room to accommodate more communities to benefit from 4 projects, which include education, water, health, and sanitation.
Come and carry out needs assessment where they actually identify their needs. So after that, they just contribute 5% of the project fund. The remaining 95% will be available by the state government, and the project will be implemented.
Residents of the benefiting communities hope that these new developments, which has been on for the past 3 years, will bring long-term benefits and encourage further investments in their communities. Femi Afarigun, NTA News.
Let us now link up with Femi Afarigun in Osogbo, who is at one of the communities that have benefited from the program. Hello, Femi. Yes, I can see you. So, how many communities have so far benefited from this program?
Good afternoon, Gochukuga.
Yes, go ahead. Tell us how many communities have benefited from this program
thank you.
so far.
The program tagged Osun Cares is a replica of NG Care program of the federal government. 267 communities have so far benefited from the program, spread across the 30 local government area of Osun State. And the state government said it has spent 2 billion naira for this particular program. The intervention is coming in the area of education, healthcare, water and sanitation. There is, however, a special case for people with disabilities here in the state capital, as there is we have 4 buildings here where they are being trained on different vocations like making of bags, shoe making, and we have people making adire. We have a visually impaired artist here making adire from this. The program is the one that they provide the needed equipment for the persons with disabilities to work with, and they have the opportunity to be trained in any areas they want to learn from. So far, some communities have benefited from this particular program, but the issue there is some communities are not aware of this program, are not keying into this program to enjoy the maximum benefit of this particular program. The state government is making it flexible in such a way that the benefiting community will contribute 5% of the project capital to the whole thing. The 5%, according to the agency in charge, is just to encourage the community to take ownership of any particular projects they are installing in their community.
Okay, Femi, you just mentioned that some of the communities are not keen into this initiative. So why are they not keen into this? Did you find out?
Some of them seems not to be aware about the program. Why some are looking at the financial contribution? They are only meant to contribute 5%, and according to the agency, the 5% is to encourage communities to take ownership of the program, after which any particular project that is being installed in their community, they have to set up committee to ensure that the project is maintained.
Okay, and I believe the state government is...
And the agency is saying there is still more chance for more communities to key into this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Femi. We keep tab on that. Thank you very much for your contribution. Now, the solid minerals sector is progressing steadily, and the role of critical partners will never be taken for granted. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, stated this in a message at the conference of the Nigerian Association of Exploration Geologists in Abuja. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development appealed to exploration geologists to continue offering professional advice to the federal government in reviving this sector.
And I'm sure that we know that the minister is committed to getting actual updated data in the industry. We have challenges of investors trying to come into the ministry, into the mining industry, into the country, and all they ask for is data. And we cannot achieve anything. Data is the bedrock of the mining industry. So we're committed to having good ideas from the station to the ministry.
With the guide of Nigerian Minerals and Mineral Act of 2007 as amended, continue to do our work diligently, efficiently, and satisfactorily. So also is the NTA, Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, that have been working tirelessly and excellently.
The conference also advised developers to follow recommendations by geologists to avert building collapse in the country. Our first port of call is Lagos, and Hingino is our guide. Hello, a very good afternoon to you, Hingino.
Afternoon, Ogochukwu. Nice to see you. It is time to act for humanity as World Humanitarian Day is celebrated. Experts say attacks on humanitarian workers and assets must end, adding that perpetrators of injustice against aid workers and civilians must be brought to book. Adejoke Odeka reports.
There was just something about him that attracted my attention.
What's a world without good people? Tele, an entrepreneur who recounted the experience of her recent humanitarian service in her community, expressed worry about how citizens are gradually failing in being their brother's keepers and careless about the misfortunes of others.
Looking at him, and I asked the person if they knew him, if he was somebody in the neighborhood or anything, and the person answered me and said, no, this is how he has been since yesterday. And I was like shocked. How can you just leave this person? You should at least find out. He might be somebody's child, he might be missing, he might be trying to find his way.
This year's theme for the World Humanitarian Day, Act for Humanity, according to the United Nations, is to recognize humanitarian personnel and those who have died working for humanitarian causes and the need to protect and treat civilians as well as humanitarian workers' rights.
We work to ensure that the vulnerable people are protected, and we must give access for humanitarian response. We must not block humanitarian access.
Humanitarian organizations are contributing to the development of this country, and they are also reaching out to the vulnerable people around the country, especially in a conflict-ridden environment.
Experts are of the opinion that turning a blind eye to the needs and plights of those who go out of their way to serve victims in need would cause more harm than good. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
Nigeria's economic blueprint, which is geared towards upscaling infrastructure in critical sectors of the economy while creating jobs, is achievable with effective tax administration that will block revenue leakage. Joel Pupola in this report examines how stakeholders in tax administration are changing this narrative through collaboration to meet and surpass revenue targets.
Addressing infrastructural gaps, especially in the area of power generation, road network and other critical projects that will create jobs and attract foreign direct investment into the country, are feasible with the contribution of all citizens through payment of taxes. Nigeria, according to statistics, has a population of more than 200 million people, but barely 15% are in the tax net. This engagement between the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the National Assembly Committee on Finance is not just to ensure the projection of 14.94 trillion naira target is met, but also brainstorm on how to bring in more Nigerians into the tax net while developing templates for effective tax administration in tandem with best practice. This, the Executive Chairman, FIRS, Zach Adedeji, says will also improve voluntary compliance to tax payments.
Target of 19.4 trillion that you gave to us at the beginning of the year, as at today, by God's grace, we are on the path to make sure that that target is achieved. The kind of innovation that both houses that you brought has really helped the federal government. So on behalf of federal government, I appreciate you.
Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, assures that the Senate will provide the legislative framework to improve tax administration and ensure transparency.
Looking at innovations, you can see cryptocurrency today has become one of the largest ways of making money. And in Nigeria, we don't have any law to guide that. So with what FIRS is doing and the legislators, we are synergizing to make sure that we come out with a legislation that will give Nigeria the best in getting much revenue.
Stakeholders here are hopeful that Nigeria tax to GDP rate will also increase with all hands on deck. In Lagos, Joel Ukwola, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Abuja after the break.
Thank you for being there. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, has declared a net profit of 3.2 trillion naira in its 2023 audited accounts, reeling out the financial highlights tagged Defying Gravity. Chief Financial Officer, NNPC Limited, Umar Ajiya, is optimistic that the company's long-term survival is assured despite misconceptions. Minister of Works Dave Umahi says the federal government is committed in providing needed infrastructure to further enhance the socio-economic life of the people. Timinepre Ohia reports that pursuant to achieving this, the minister noted that the Ministry of Works will closely monitor the execution of all federal roads and bridges to be sure the projects are implemented in line with specification and standards. This was when the minister was on an inspection of the ongoing upgrading of the 15-kilometer section of the East-West Road, Section 2 from Port Harcourt, Eleme to One Junction in Rivers State. The inspection tour enables the minister to assess the progress of work done, as the minister emphasized the importance of quality in road construction, noting that substandard work will not be tolerated. He pointed out specific areas of concern and directed the contractors to address them immediately. The Eleme-One Road is crucial as it serves as a major route for the transportation of goods and services across the region. Fulfilling its core mandate of improving livelihood, job, and wealth creation for youths and women using the incubatees and incubators model in the agricultural value chain within rural communities, the federal government's Life ND project has inaugurated and handed over 3 major integrated projects at Idoma community in Biase local government area of Cross River State. Paul Abel reports.
The federal government, IFAD, NDDC, Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises, Niger Delta Life ND Project, as the name implies, has transformed the lives of many youths and women through its incubator model via various agricultural value chains, as it reaches out to 100 communities in Cross River State and at Idoma community in Biase local government area. There are 59 direct beneficiaries, including Comfort Anthony Ekpe and others, who are testimonies of the success story of the project.
Before, I wasn't farming. The little portion I had of farm, I was just producing just a little commodity. But now the project has empowered me with 3 hectares of land. And with this project, I have been able to have my own mini cassava processing mill.
We will guide it carelessly. We will protect it carelessly.
The Commissioner for Agriculture, while inaugurating the 3 integrated projects, which include 1.3-kilometer earth farm road, mini bridge linking the road with the 8 metric tons cassava processing mill, commends the federal government and Life ND and other partners for the approach and model which the state government may also adopt.
This is a model that even Cross River State as a government will replicate in other local governments.
The choice of 3 projects followed a bottom-down approach implementation from what the community requested based on needs assessment.
It is an integrated infrastructural need that meets the need and requirements of the entire community.
These are the most active persons that can create something positive or negative.
There was a tour around the cassava processing mill, which is expected to enhance production, processing and marketing of the raw material for improved livelihood of the people. From Idoma community, Biase local government area of Cross River State, Paul Abel, NTA News.
And from Cross River State, we are going to Maiduguri, where Ladidi is there to give us more reports. Hello, Ladidi, you're on.
Welcome to Maiduguri. Thanks to have you join us. Deputy Governor of Borno State, Umar Usman Kadafur, has reassured government commitments toward providing basic necessities to disaster victims. Umar Usman Kadafur stated this while distributing relief assistance to Miringa community of Biu local government recently affected by flood disaster. Tina Toru report that 1 life was lost in the incident.
The Deputy Governor, Umar Usman Kadafur, described the incident as unfortunate and commiserated with the Emirate, victims of the flood and the good people of Biu. He stated that upon receiving the report on the incident, the state government directed SEMA to visit and assess the extent of damage, as well as those affected by the incident, which necessitated Governor Babagana Umar Zulum to approve release of the relief materials to all the victims of the flood disaster. SEMA Executive Secretary Mohammed Lawan Sharif enumerated the items presented to the victims to include 420 bags each of rice and maize, textile materials, blankets, polythene mats, buckets, 527 bundles of zinc, and 14,350,000 naira. Earlier, Chairman of the Local Council, Sule Aliyimi, appreciated the state government for the swift and timely intervention to victims of the flood disaster, which claimed one life, and re-echoed continued support and loyalty of the council for the government to succeed. Emir of Biu, Mustafa Umar Mustafa, had on behalf of the beneficiaries appreciated the state government through SEMA for bringing succor to the affected victims and prayed Allah to reward them. In Maiduguri, Sinat, NTA.
Meanwhile, the National Emergency Management Agency and its state counterpart, SEMA, has held a strategic stakeholders engagement toward creating public awareness and sensitization on proper waste management and flood mitigation strategies to safeguard lives and property. Pauline Kujavana reports that the meeting was also in collaboration with the Borno State Environmental Protection Agency, BOSEPA, with support from salient humanitarian organizations.
The workshop, which had in attendance religious and community leaders, security officials, NYC corps members, salient humanitarian organization, Response Initiative International and other stakeholders, is aimed at mapping out modalities to mitigate flooding and other environmental challenges. Zonal Coordinator Nema Borno Yobe, Suraju Garba, and Permanent Secretary Minister of Environment Juliana Bitrus attributed flood and disease outbreaks to irresponsible practices that pose a threat to infrastructure, environment, and health.
The Operations Center has been activated in Abuja to monitor all the communities by having first-hand information about the impending flooding.
Representative of the Director General SEMA, the Executive Secretary Mohammed Lawan Sharif, noted that proper sensitization will help address critical concerns on waste management being a major challenge in communities.
There is a plot, Damboa local government, Dikwa local government, including Jere, some part of Jere, there is a flooding. And this is the second week of the rainy season. So that's why we're getting prepared to see that we have sensitized our citizens.
General Manager Bosepa Abubakar Suleiman highlighted the agency's engagement in evacuation of waterways and drainages, noting that everyone is a stakeholder and discourage indiscriminate waste disposal.
Task force are moving around. If you see something, please say something. With regard to Bosepa, for the actions to be taken.
Presentations were made on flood prevention and mitigation, identifying effective waste management as key to flood prevention and safeguarding public health. The initiative will further help the people of Borno make informed decisions and work towards finding long-term solutions to the challenges and become champions of change. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Those are the trending stories from Maiduguri. For now, Nationwide continues with Ogochikuka in Abuja.
Still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Welcome to Benin. Edo State government has commenced the second phase of its oil palm farming in Okubo community in Ironman local government area. Goodluck Enani reports that Governor Godwin Obaseki performed the symbolic tree planting.
Edo State Oil Palm Program began 2 years ago with the cultivation of high-yielding and fast-growing oil palm on 70,000 hectares of land. This investment has attracted some investors who want to partake in the venture. Here in Okubo community, 50,000 hectares of land is awaiting the takeoff of the second phase. Governor Obaseki, shortly after performing the symbolic planting, said the state government has de-risked the likely impediment so that farmers can have smooth sail.
We're about to launch ISOP 2 with another set of investors to offtake almost 50,000 hectares of land for oil palm. ISOP 1 covered 70,000 hectares of land. So it's more fact for us a tour to see what those people we give land to have done with the land and to show those who have applied to participate in this program to see what the expectations are.
The governor was also at Feyu's farm in Sabongida Ora to inspect the ESOP project and urge investors there to keep to terms of agreement with host communities. Meanwhile, some indigents of Sobe community accosted the governor's entourage in jubilation for making the Sobe Ifon Sabongida Ora road motorable. From Sobe, good luck in NTA News.
A total of 3.2 billion naira has been disbursed to clear the backlog of gratuities owed retired state and local government staff in Ondo State. 2.2 billion naira out of the amount is allocated for 2015 state retirees, while 1 billion naira is earmarked for 2012 and 2013 retired primary school teachers and local government staff. Paul Omokago reports.
The backlog of gratuities will be fully paid.
These senior citizens, while expressing gratitude to the state governor for his dedication to their welfare, said they are confident that the remaining backlog of gratuities on their colleagues will soon be settled by the state government.
Time was in the past in the state when the gratuity will be divided or shared into two by those who were in charge in those days.
As soon as Governor Aiyedatiwa came on board, he just started, revisiting all the things that have been neglected.
We've been expecting this thing for a long time, but today it was materialized.
Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, while thanking the retirees for their patience, reaffirmed his commitment to clearing all outstanding benefits for retirees at both the state and local government levels.
2.2 billion is being used to offset the entire retirees for 2015. And for the local government, we also offset the part of 2012, and we completed that 2012 today and the entire 2013.
This marks the third batch of bulk payments to retirees since Governor Aiyedatiwa assumed office in December 2023. In Akure, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
And that's it from Benin. Please stay tuned for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Dwak. And from Delta State comes a report that a former Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Advanced Legal Studies, Abuja, and President General Asaba Development Union Worldwide, Professor Epiphany Azinge, SAN, has been announced as the 14th Asaba of Asaba. Onyinye Joshua Ifeanyi has the details.
Following the demise of the 13th Asaba of Asaba, Professor Chike Edozien, the onus of bringing forth a new Asaba of Asaba fell on the shoulders of Ubomanta quarter of Asaba, as the kingship stool is zoned traditionally after a careful selection and evaluation of 10 best qualified sons from the 6 villages that make up Ubomanta quarter. Professor Epiphany Azinge, the Okilolo of Ahaba, emerged best choice. He and other contestants to the throne were further presented to Asaba in council, the highest traditional governing body, for final scrutiny.
By the authority vested in me as the Chamber Asaba, and the authority vested in me under the traditional rulers of Edict 1979, I pronounce Professor Epiphany Azinge.
Titled men present at the occasion explained the uniqueness and transparency of the selection process.
Our prayer is that he rules longer, he will be rule for more than 30 or 40 years. But I have no doubt that he will be a very good Asaba.
By my reckoning all the while, he is the most qualified in all respect to lead Asaba.
Traditional rites heralding his coronation have commenced. Onyinye Joshua Ifeanyi, NTA News.
There has been anxiety and uncertainty among farmers concerning the 2024 rainy season. While some of them are complaining about a sudden cessation of the rain, others are facing heavy rain and floods destroying their farmlands. In this report, Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at the situation in the northern part of the country.
The 2024 rainy season commenced a little late this year, as earlier predicted by meteorologists. The season began in March in the southern parts of the country and in May in the northern region. Farmers took advantage of the weather and planted early as advised. While the farmers were enjoying the weather, hoping to have a good yield at the end of the season, suddenly the rain ceased in some states in the north central, northeast, part of northwest and southwest. The development has created anxiety and state of confusion among farming communities in the affected states. However, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency said what is being experienced is not drought, but a dry spell. The dry spell is expected to last for at least 2 to 4 weeks. In Bidda, Niger State, North Central, Muslims led by the Etsunupe seek God's intervention to send down the rain.
May Allah accept our prayers and grant us the rain that will make us achieve our good security, and also pray much Allah to guide our leaders right.
This is coming as other parts of the country are experiencing flooding as a result of heavy rainfall in the month of August. The National Emergency Management Agency said 27 states have been impacted by the flood. It said 227,494 persons have been affected and 32,837 houses damaged, as well as 16,488 hectares of farmlands with crops are also damaged. The end of the season is expected to begin on October 6. It is also anticipated to end around the south-south in the month of December. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Dibabari is in our Port Harcourt Network studios for more reports. Hello, Dibabari.
Cook and welcome to Port Harcourt. Governor Siminalayi Fubara says his government will no more approve contract services for retired permanent secretaries in the state so as to give room for others in the system to grow. Government House correspondent Usinachi Samuel reports that the governor disclosed this while swearing in 6 new permanent secretaries at the Executive Council chambers of the Government House, Port Harcourt.
Shortly after taking the oath of office, the governor remarked that if the government continues to extend the services of retired permanent secretaries, those coming behind will find it difficult to grow, and that going forward, as soon as any permanent secretary retires, a new one will be appointed. He charged the new permanent secretaries to see their appointment as a call to service to the government and people of Rivers State, urging them to be good ambassadors to the ministries that they will be assigned and avoid any act of sabotage and disregard to constituted authority.
I want to charge you to be good ambassadors to the service. The ministries that you'll be assigned to represent us well. Don't bring disgrace to us. You have only one responsibility now, is to the government. I'm interested in what you're going to do for the government and for the people of Rivers State.
The newly sworn-in permanent secretaries are Dr. Comfort Igwe, Mrs. Antonia Iyaye, Uzoma Wogo, Patience Ihoma, Godon, and Mr. Chukwuma Ndudi. The new permanent secretaries were immediately given vehicles to enhance their productivity. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The growing rate of fraudulent investment schemes has continued to generate concern among Nigerians as it is ripping innocent citizens of their hard-earned resources. Chidiberoya in this special report reveals that more people still fall prey to the antics of these scammers, while the Ponzi scheme operators cash out big. The report.
Day in, day out, all manner of investment schemes are launched on social media platforms and other integrated marketing communication platforms, promising attractive returns on investments. More often than not, a good number of these unregistered investment platforms abscond with people's money. This unchanging narrative remains same even with recurring losses. People are still falling victim.
Somebody will come and tell you, just pay this, within 1 hour you get 100%. A normal person should know that it's Ponzi. It's not really scam.
You can't be paying money to somebody that you cannot go tomorrow to say, give my money. Nigerians are looking for how to get small money. That's another problem.
You engaging in such, you're lazy.
You don't want to work and you just want to make money.
Our financial experts have this to say about risking money in unregistered investment schemes.
A situation where somebody comes to an individual and tell you, look, you invest in agricultural products and you get 50% or 100% return per annum. The question you should ask is, what agricultural product gives you 100% return per annum? If it does exist, the person will go to his family and friends and make that investment, or go to a bank.
From all indications, it has been established that most Nigerians are gullible, considering the volume of money that have been lost to fraudulent investment schemes.
Because of that quest to make extra money, people make mistakes. And I think it has to be checked. There are institutions to check it, like the EFCC and co.
To curtail this anomaly, observers call on relevant authorities to beam their searchlights on these investment platforms on the social media space where most of these investment products are promoted. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onyea, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Ogochubuka for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Dibabari in Port Harcourt. Now, the World Humanitarian Day is commemorated every year on 19th August to pay tribute to humanitarian workers killed and injured in the course of their work and to honor all aid and health workers who continue to provide life-saving support and protection to people most in need. Each year, World Humanitarian Day focuses on bringing together partners from across the humanitarian system to advocate for the survival, well-being and dignity of people affected by crisis and security of aid workers. Ruth Aguele reports.
Hashtag Act for Humanity is a theme for this year's World Humanitarian Day. The aim is to build public support to help pressure parties in conflicts and world leaders to take action to ensure the protection of civilians, including humanitarian actors in conflict zones. For Nigeria, the result of conflicts and climate change in the affected regions has forced many into displacement and impacted the lives and livelihoods of millions of people. The present administration, under the Renewed Hope agenda, has put in measures to provide humanitarian relief through diverse social intervention programs to reduce the trajectory of poverty of vulnerable groups in the country.
In line with Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said, no one should be left behind, and we're in this world for just 3 reasons: for humanity.
Recognizing the burden of humanitarian needs across the country, Nigeria has consistently taken coordinated mechanisms with humanitarian partners towards interventions by supporting federal government's efforts through funding and technical aid to curb humanitarian crises in the country.
By our capable implementing partners evaluated by the Nigerian government in collaboration with the ECOWAS team will in depth enable us to touch the lives of the people identified.
These humanitarian initiatives, as we all know, are driven by the belief that every individual deserves access to basic necessities of life.
As the world celebrates Humanitarian Day, it is a call to action for nations to adopt a comprehensive approach by building capacity to strengthen humanitarian response plan towards addressing the growing humanitarian needs of persons of concern. Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress, APC, has expressed shock over the passing of the chairman of the Oyo State chapter of the APC, Isaac Ajiboye Omodewu. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, the party said it has lost a dedicated leader who worked tirelessly for the growth and success of the APC in Oyo State, the Southwest region, and the entire country. The party prayed God Almighty to comfort the immediate and APC families, the state, and the nation over the colossal loss. Until his passing, Omodewu was an accomplished politician, lawyer, and seasoned administrator. And that's where we draw the curtain today on Nationwide. Many thanks for watching.